Hey everyone, buckle up because today we're taking a deep dive into the future of robotics.
Yeah, get ready because we're talking cutting edge AI and robots straight out of CES 2025.
Nvidia just dropped some seriously mind-blowing tech, and we've got all the juicy details from their big announcement.
It's game-changing stuff.
Imagine a world where robots can learn to do almost anything just by watching us.
It's not science fiction anymore.
We're diving deep into Nvidia's brand new AI model, Cosmos.
This thing is a beast.
We'll break down how it works and what it means for industries everywhere, from manufacturing to self-driving cars.
The possibilities are pretty much endless.
So what makes Cosmos so different from all the other AI models out there? I mean, we hear about new AI practically every day now.
Well, Cosmos isn't just another language model churning through text.
Oh, so it's not like ChatGPT then?
Nope. Instead of processing words, Cosmos learns by creating images and 3D simulations.
So it's like it has eyes.
You got it. It processes visual information kind of like we do.
That's wild.
Oh.
Okay, so how does this actually work in the real world?
Let's say you're teaching a robot to sort packages in a busy warehouse.
Okay, I can picture that.
With Cosmos, you wouldn't need to program it with lines of code. You could just show it how it's done.
Like a hands-on demo.
Exactly. Cosmos would create a virtual replica of that warehouse.
A whole digital twin of the place.
Yep, and the robot could practice sorting packages in that simulation.
So it can learn from its mistakes without causing any real chaos.
Exactly. No real-world consequences while it's learning the ropes.
Pretty smart. And these simulations, I bet they're super realistic, right?
Oh, you have no idea. Nvidia trained Cosmos on, get this, 20 million hours of real-world footage.
Whoa, wait, 20 million hours?
You heard that right. It's seen people walking, using tools, interacting with objects, all kinds of everyday stuff.
All that data is basically teaching Cosmos how the world works.
Exactly. It's mind-blowing.
Okay, so 20 million hours of footage, that's a seriously massive amount of data.
It is.
But let's talk applications. Are we just talking about a cool tech demo here, or are companies actually using this thing?
Oh, this is way beyond a demo. Companies are already jumping on board.
Really? Like who?
Well, for example, Agility Robotics and Figure AI, they're using Cosmos to train humanoid robots.
Humanoid robots, you mean like the ones that look and move like us?
Those are the ones, they're being trained for tasks like, you guessed it, warehouse logistics and assembly lines.
Whoa, hold on. So we're talking about robots working alongside humans in factories. This is like straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does feel that way, doesn't it? But it's becoming reality.
Okay, so it's not just factory work. What about self-driving cars? Does Cosmos play a role there too?
Big time. Companies like Uber, Wallaby, and Wave are all using Cosmos to train their autonomous systems.
So instead of sending a self-driving car out into real traffic and hoping for the best,
They can create a virtual city?
and throw in all sorts of crazy traffic situations, right?
Exactly. Let the AI learn how to navigate safely without putting anyone at risk.
So it's like driver's ed for robots.
But on steroids?
I like it.
Wow.
This all sounds incredibly complex, though. I can't imagine just anyone can work with this technology.
Well, Nvidia thought of that. They created a platform called Isaac to make things a bit easier for developers.
Isaac. So what's that all about?
It's a set of software tools that simplifies the whole process of training robots.
So it's like taking the raw power of Cosmos and making it more user-friendly.
You got it. Let's say you want to teach a robot to pick up a specific object.
Right.
With Isaac, a developer could just demonstrate the action once.
Show the robot how it's done.
And the platform generates a ton of simulated training data for the robot to practice with.
So it's like Isaac takes care of all the heavy lifting behind the scenes.
Exactly. Makes training robots a lot faster and cheaper.
That's a game changer. And what about adapting to new environments?
Isaac helps with that too, makes robots more flexible and adaptable.
Nice. And speaking of robots, CES was basically a humanoid robot convention this year.
It was pretty wild.
I read they had life-sized images of 14 different humanoid robots on display.
Some from big names too.
Oh yeah, like who?
Tesla, Boston Dynamics, you name it. It was a pretty clear sign of where this technology is headed.
And where does Nvidia fit into all of this?
They're laying the groundwork. They're providing the tools that other companies are using to build the robots of the future.
So Nvidia isn't just building cool tech. They're kind of orchestrating this whole robotic revolution.
You could say that.
Yeah.
And they're not stopping there. They also announced Project Digits.
Project Digits?
A $3,000 personal AI supercomputer. Think about that for a second.
A personal AI supercomputer for $3,000 bucks.
It's designed to run massive language models without needing the cloud.
Hold on, so you're saying anyone could have access to that kind of power?
That's the idea.
Wow, the possibilities are insane.
It could democratize access to AI in a huge way.
But all of this requires some serious horsepower, right?
hmm
To run all these crazy models and simulations.
That's where Nvidia's new RTX Blackwell GPUs come in.
So what makes these GPUs so special?
They're built for AI workloads, specifically designed to handle the massive computational demands.
So while Cosmos and Isaac are the software superstars, the Blackwell GPUs are the behind-the-scenes heroes.
Exactly. They're the engine that makes all of this possible.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Cosmos is creating the virtual worlds. Isaac is training the robots.
Yeah.
Project Digits is giving everyone access to AI power, and the Blackwell GPUs are the muscle behind it all.
That's a great summary. It's pretty clear NVIDIA is going all in on AI and robotics.
It's exciting and a little bit scary at the same time.
I know what you mean.
But this is just the beginning. We've only scratched the surface of what these innovations mean for the future.
Yeah, we have a lot more to unpack.
In part 2, we'll explore what a world powered by this level of AI could actually look like and what it means for all of us. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. So last time we were totally geeking out over NVIDIA's AI innovations.
Yeah, those were some pretty big reveals.
But now I think it's time to get down to business. What does a future with robots powered by Cosmos and Isaac actually look like for us? For everyday people.
It's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, just imagine robots learning as easily as we do.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
It is.
But I gotta be honest, it's also a little bit unnerving. Are we talking about robots taking over the world here?
Okay, maybe not a full-blown robot uprising.
But realistically, are robots coming for our jobs? I mean, that's the big fear, isn't it?
It's definitely a concern, but I think it's more about a shift in the job landscape than robots stealing all the jobs.
Okay, so you're saying some jobs will change, but not all of them will disappear.
Right. Certain tasks are definitely going to be automated. That's inevitable.
Like what kind of tasks are we talking about?
Think about repetitive manual jobs, the kind that already rely heavily on automation.
So factory workers, truck drivers, data entry clerks, those are the jobs that are most at risk.
We'll likely see some changes in those sectors, but it's not a simple equation.
How so?
Well, as some jobs are phased out, new ones will emerge.
So it's not just about jobs disappearing. It's about new jobs being created too.
Exactly. We'll need people who can design, maintain, and manage these robot workforces.
Makes sense. We're already seeing a huge demand for people who can code and work with AI.
And that demand is only going to increase.
So those are the jobs of the future.
Absolutely. And it's not just about technical skills either.
Oh. So what else is important?
It's also about understanding how to work alongside robots, how to collaborate effectively.
So people's skills are still important, even in a world full of robots.
More important than ever, we'll need people who can bridge that gap between humans and machines.
So we'll need people who are tech-savvy,
Right.
but also good communicators, problem solvers, and adaptable to new ways of working.
You got it. This isn't just a tech revolution, it's a societal shift.
It's a whole new world.
And it raises a lot of questions about how we prepare for this future.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
If someone's listening to this right now and thinking, whoa, the future is coming at me fast, what can they do to get ready?
Well, I think the most important thing is to embrace lifelong learning.
Lifelong learning. What do you mean by that?
The skills that are in demand today might be obsolete tomorrow.
So we can't just learn one thing and expect to coast on that for our whole careers.
Not anymore. We all need to be adaptable, curious, and willing to pick up new skills throughout our lives.
It's like that saying, the only constant is change.
Exactly. And in this case, change is happening at warp speed.
No kidding. So how do we keep up?
By constantly learning and adapting. If we do that, we'll be better equipped to navigate these shifts.
So what kind of skills should people be focusing on?
Well, don't be afraid to explore areas where humans still have a distinct advantage.
Like what?
Things like creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving, and emotional intelligence.
So those are the things that make us uniquely human.
Exactly. Robots haven't quite mastered those skills yet.
So double down on what makes us human. But for someone who isn't a programmer or an engineer, this whole AI world can feel pretty intimidating. Where do they even start?
You don't have to become a coding whiz overnight. There are plenty of resources available for people who want to dip their toes into the world of AI and robotics.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Online courses, workshops, even just reading articles and following industry news. There are so many ways to learn and stay informed.
So baby steps, right. Start small, Stay curious and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Exactly. And remember, we're all figuring this out together.
It's a team effort.
This isn't a solo mission. The more informed and engaged we are as individuals, the better equipped we'll be as a society to navigate the challenges and opportunities ahead.
Speaking of opportunities, let's zoom back in on Nvidia for a second. We talked about Cosmos, Isaac, Project Digits, all incredibly innovative.
Definitely pushing the boundaries.
But powering all of this are the Blackwell GPUs, right? What makes them so special?
They're kind of the unsung heroes of this whole story. They're the engine that makes all of this possible.
We haven't talked about them much.
I know, right? But they're essential. Think of them as specialized brains designed to handle the massive computational demands of AI.
Okay, so break that down for us. What does that actually mean?
We're talking about processing huge amounts of data, running complex simulations, and training sophisticated algorithms. The Blackwell GPUs are the muscle behind all of that.
So while Cosmos and Isaac are the software stars of the show, the Blackwell GPUs are the hardware workhorses.
That's a great way to put it. Without that raw processing power, none of these advancements would be possible.
So Nvidia has built this incredibly powerful ecosystem. They're creating the software, designing the hardware, and partnering with companies to build the robots.
It's a bold strategy, and it seems to be paying off.
They're definitely setting the pace for the industry.
They are.
It's a lot to process. We've covered a lot of ground, from the mind-boggling capabilities of AI to the very real impact it's going to have on our lives and careers.
It's a lot to take in.
But one thing's for sure, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We spent the last 2 parts exploring this whole world of AI and robotics. It's pretty amazing stuff.
It is. It really is.
But let's be real for a second. All of this innovation, it's got to come with some challenges, right? I mean, it can't all be sunshine and roses.
Oh, definitely. We've talked about jobs changing and needing to learn new skills, but there's something else we need to consider.
What's that?
The unintended consequences. We're basically creating a whole new species here. Intelligent machines. We need to be careful with that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like we're walking a tightrope. On the one hand, we have this incredible opportunity to, solve huge problems and make life better.
Right.
But on the other hand, we're kind of venturing into the unknown with this tech that's changing so fast. It's almost hard to keep up.
You're exactly right. It's uncharted territory. And that's why it's so important to think about the long-term implications.
Like what happens down the road?
Yeah, like how do we make sure AI stays under human control? How do we prevent it from being used for bad stuff?
That's a big one. It's like we're writing the rule book as we go along. We need safeguards, ethical guidelines, maybe even new laws to keep up with all this change.
I think transparency is key here. We need open and honest conversations about the risks and the benefits.
Not just with the experts.
Right. It needs to involve everyone, policymakers, ethicists, the general public. This can't just be a tech industry conversation. It needs to be a societal one.
So we need to demystify AI, make it less of a black box and get people involved. That's a tall order. Where do we even start?
It starts with education. We need to make sure people understand the basics of AI, how it works, how it's going to impact their lives.
AI 101 for everyone.
Pretty much. And we need to invest in AI ethics research. We need experts who can really dive into these tough questions and guide the development of AI in a responsible way.
So it's like building the guardrails before we hit the highway. We need to be thinking about safety and ethics right from the start.
Exactly. And we need to be proactive, not reactive. We can't wait for things to go wrong before we start looking for solutions.
We need to get ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. We need to be thinking about these challenges right now as we're building this future with AI.
So what you're saying is this isn't just on the shoulders of tech companies like Nvidia. It's on all of us, right? Individuals, governments, businesses, everyone.
You got it. We all have a role to play in shaping this future, and that future isn't set in stone. It's up to us to decide what we want it to look like.
And to make sure that AI is working for us, not the other way around.
Exactly.
This has been a wild ride. We've gone from robots learning by watching to the impact on jobs and skills to these big ethical questions. It's mind-blowing. And honestly, a little bit overwhelming.
I get it. It's a lot to take in.
But it's also exciting, right? To think about the potential here.
Absolutely. We should be in awe of AI's potential, but we should also be aware of its limitations. We need to approach it with caution, but also with a commitment to using it for good.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So to everyone listening, this isn't the end of the conversation. It's just the beginning. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and stay engaged. The future of AI is happening right now, and we all have a part in shaping it.